What's up, homies? Welcome back to Agents After Hours. Our podcast is for the agents who want to talk about the parts of this industry no one wants to say out loud.
We're Erika
and Paige,
and we're here to bring you unfiltered, unapologetically honest real estate talk. So pour a drink, take a breath, and let's dive in, baby.
Let's dive in.
Oh, so before we get started, I want to say this was kind of like off the pod topic, and Paige was like, we need to just hit record because I was just feeling a little bit in my head, and I just wanted to kind of like, Paige is obviously like, she's a co-host, but like a mentor also for me, so I just kind of needed a second, like just one-on-one to like brain dump and like work through my tangled thoughts, and so that's what we did, and we're going to share it with you.
I absolutely love it. It seems kind of like, and we talked about it before, like some of our best episodes we don't hit record for. Like we talk about it beforehand and we never hit record. But Erika literally, I didn't say a word. Like Erika told me how she felt about this topic and I didn't say a word and I was like, go back, hold on, repeat everything you just said. We're hitting record because I have so much I want to say about this topic. So I hope you guys enjoy it and let us know what you think in the comments.
Let us know. Bye. I mean, hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I have been doing a lot of thinking about my business because at the beginning of the year, I purchased a coaching program and I spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on it. And I purchased it because the premise of the whole coaching program was like, okay, you'll be able to leave, shut your laptop at the end of the day and know the things that you did are going to move the needle forward in your business. That is exactly what I need to do. So I was in the coaching program, they give you like daily, weekly, monthly tasks, quarterly tasks, things like that. However, I feel like they're not specific enough to where I really feel like I still know what I'm doing. So like for an example, when you buy any coaching program, they're going to tell you, okay, the first hour to 2 hours of your day you should spend generating leads. And the reason why I'm coming to this is because I had listened to a podcast recently that was talking about batching your tasks together. And that's something that we talk about all the time. In thinking of that, was thinking, okay, I feel like I'm more like a la-di-da throughout my day. And just, I'm not saying it's not working for me, but I think I could do it better. So I was thinking about in terms of actual tasks, like if I was a brand new agent coming to you and saying, Paige, what are the tasks I should be doing every day? What does that look like? Because if I get something that says, okay, prospect for 2 hours a day, I'm sitting there in my head and I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm not going out and knocking on doors. I'm not going to go out and I'm not cold calling FSBOs, expireds. I'm not doing that. So what does prospecting mean? And then another thing that they tell you is immediately after that, you're going to go into lead follow-up. So if I'm keeping track of all my leads on a lead tracker and I'm following up with them, say I have 60 leads and I'm texting them all, am I going to follow up with the same 60 leads tomorrow? Because texting 60 people takes you a total of maybe 5 minutes, if that. So like, even if you're being very personal, I don't think it's going to take you too long. We'll even call it an hour. But like, then tomorrow, what am I doing? Am I texting those same 60 people? So like, that would be my question to you.
Okay, so I find coaching to be the coaching that I have seen offered to agents, like sales type coaching, I find that quite honestly icky. I feel like everybody tells you the same stuff. And when you're in real estate, I think it can work. Don't get me wrong. I think that there are people that can do the modernized standard coaching for sales and, you know, all the things that you just said. I think that there is a pool of business owners that can do that and succeed. I think that there is another pool of entrepreneurs who are very la-di-da during the day, and that does not work for them. That doesn't work for me. So anytime I see somebody give like, I can be your coach and I can teach you sales stuff, like I have a coach. but I tell him specifically, I don't want his sales shit. I don't like it. And not that because I don't trust that it's good. I haven't seen it. I have no idea. I have no information. I just don't like sales coaching. I think that is, it's to put everybody in a box. It's not personalized enough, and it doesn't give you actual practical advice, which I think is what you're looking for when they're telling you to prospect and to follow up. There's no practical for Erika in that. And that's what I don't like.
So the coaching that I got, the reason I chose this one was because it was more systems training. And I do think that I learned a lot, and what I have implemented has already got me business, because some of the things that they tell you to do is like keep track of every single lead, which I was not doing, and people would fall through the cracks. And so this, at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, we go through the lead tracker, we update it, we write people down. And so that has kept us for the entire year, keeping track of all the people who are interested. Like, nobody has fallen through the cracks. I will say that. It also teaches you things about, I don't know, just kind of keeping track of where things are coming from. But I haven't. Okay, so for me, I can schedule out my time, right? And be like, okay, this is the time I'm going to sit down and work. And then I'm like sitting here and I'm like, what is that? What does that mean?
So systems is a practical step to me. Like, systems, that's a inanimate object. That's something you can control. There's no emotions. There's no ebb and flow. Systems are systems. That is why you found success in that, because it's practical. When it's sales coaching and how to generate business based off of sales is people. That ebbs and flows. There's emotions. There needs to be a connection in that. So that's where I was talking about. But the systems coaching, I think that's perfect. I think that if you struggle with confidence, I think it's important that if you're going to hire a coach, you should ask them what their favorite thing is to coach. Because some people, they don't like sales, but they do it because it's an income and they know how to do it. But others, they like leadership, so that's where they flourish. And you'll see anybody that's in a leadership position flourish under them. I also think that there's a difference between coaching and consulting. And I think people need to make sure which one they're getting here. Consulting is just, I'm going to tell you what you should do. Coaching is like, I'm going to be along and hold your hand while you do it. Those are two different things. There's a lot of consultants that don't like to coach because they don't want that responsibility. Well, they don't want the responsibility of the outcome. And whereas coaching, they're like, okay, you're not listening to me. That pisses me off. Why are you not listening to me? Like,
they're in it with you.
Right. And I have found through my leadership journey that I prefer consulting over coaching. Because I'm going to tell you what to do. And if you don't do it, that's on you. But if I was your coach, I'd be pissed. And then I would be emotionally invested, and me personally, I would be like, okay, well, you're not listening to anything. What's the point of me even being here? Like, I'm just wasting my time coaching. It's not filling my cup. It's not filling your cup because you're not doing it. So it's like, there's a difference. So this is not something that I talk about often when it comes to Brickbill and what we do. So when you ask me those questions, like, what does prospecting look like? What is lead follow-up? I actually have, me and another agent actually sat down and did a 4-week success program. And I've never had an agent fully do it to see the outcome of it. But me thinking about what I did and using my own personal success and just what I have learned in the market of what you should know to be able to have confidence in success, I guess, and being able to just have a good career. So I can't say that this actually works, but if you were to ask me a list of tasks that I would tell a new agent to do, I have you have to come to work at Brickbill if you want the whole shabam. I'm going to say that. But just some things on here is doing a neighborhood study, and not just farming a freaking neighborhood, but if you want to fully engulf into a certain neighborhood, then you need to know the age of the subdivision, builders in the subdivision, number of homes, how fast a houses go for, what's the average price per square footage, why do homes sit, what is the difference between things that do sit and don't sit in that neighborhood. You need to get real hyper local into that, not just farm. So when I say farm a neighborhood, I expect you to know that neighborhood. Home previews. If you're a new agent and you don't have showings, why are you not out looking at houses daily? there's an option on showing time that says agent preview. How are you going to get familiar for what things are selling for, what things are listed for, condition, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable? How do you know those things to better able to teach your client and educate your client if you're not in it? You don't need to have a buyer to look at a fucking house. Like, you should be looking at houses daily to know what the market that you're serving lists and what that looks like. Market analysis. Do a random CMA to see if you're good at it. Do your house, do your parents' house, do your sister's house, do a CMA, see if you're good at it. See if you can find comps. Personal development. This is where you should be identifying strengths and weaknesses and finding skills that you can actually use, practical skills that you can do so you can close the gaps of your weaknesses. You should be networking. You should be doing a deep dive into your MLS system, your zip form system, your CRM. You should be spending your time doing that. Like, that's just week 1 that I have. Personal branding, social media outreach. So social media outreach, post real estate content 4 times a week, comment on 4 people's posts daily to engage. Like, so there's your follow-up. You should be talking to 4 people every day, new people on social media. That's staying in touch with your sphere. When it comes to follow-up, if you have 60 people in your CRM, how often you should be following up with them, you should probably do a self-dive. How many people do you have the bandwidth to talk to per week?
Like, and just divide them up.
And divide them up. Because, like, if I've already talked to freaking 100 people this week, I might only have the bandwidth to do 2 this week, to have a legit, honest conversation. Hey, how's it going? What if they text me back? I have to sit there and engage, like, for maybe 5-10 minutes. So, like, or pick up the phone. So those are some practical things that I would say for tasks.
So I do think that sorry, I had a frog. I do think that is all really great for new agents. I find myself in a spot where I am currently struggling with, like, I want to just say it's self-sabotage all the way around, if I'm being very honest and vulnerable. Okay. I get to a point where I'm very particular about the things that I'm going to do and how the week's going to go. And I don't know if this is just a me thing, but then I find myself being like, well, I think I should do this today. And, like, I'm not following the plan. And I know that our brains crave a plan and they want to know, like, what's coming next. I'm also very neurodivergent to where, like, I can't feel locked in, but then I need structure. So I need both. And I think I'm having, like, internal conflict on how to, like, execute the things. I've been very open with the fact that, like, I really struggle with execution. And I think if I could put half of, like, the energy into the shit that I know I would do, like, I feel like everything would just blow up. Like, I feel like I would be a whole different person, and that's not even just in business, that's in personal. So, like, I don't know, like, how to combat that, because I do want to be able to close my laptop at the end of the day and know, like, okay, I did all the things I need to do. I feel satisfied. I feel done. I don't think that's ever going to happen, though. So I've kind of just taken that, like, off the table, because I do think that, like, we are just in a business where enough is never, like, because if you want more, you have to do more. That's it. That's how it goes.
So you said execution is a weakness. And you also, you didn't say it, but I identified self-sabotaging, which in a sense, self-sabotaging is a lack of confidence in an area.
Okay.
So right now, confidence and execution are going to be your 2 weaknesses, which I just mentioned in my 4-week success for new agents, is that identified 2 weaknesses. You just identified 2 in literally a minute. So confidence and execution. So when you're looking for a coach, you need to ask, what are you good at coaching? And see if they mention confidence or execution. If neither of those are on the coach that you're selecting, they're not going to be something that develops you personally in any way, shape, or form.
I can't, like, I want to push back on the confidence aspect, because I don't know. Is that maybe not like a self-confidence thing? Okay. So maybe just like a confidence thing where I'm telling myself I don't deserve this, or, like, I haven't been able to hit this goal, so I can't ever hit this goal. And there's like a confidence in that aspect.
Yeah. Confidence doesn't have to be a broad, like, Erika's not a confident person. No, there is just aspects or skills that we might not be confident. We can make that so micro. It doesn't have to be a broad thing, because like, I used to think that I had a full-blown confidence issue. I don't. I have a confidence issue in parts and certain characteristics or skills that I just don't naturally have. So that's creating a confidence issue in that aspect. So self-sabotaging, I think, is telling yourself that either one, you're not ready, you're not capable, or you have to be perfect at execution before you deserve this. I don't know what your brain says to you, but those are just kind of some examples that came to my mind.
Well, some of the things I think about is like, I will tell myself sometimes that like I don't like know how to run a business, and I am like, I can do my job. I can be a realtor. I know how to do that. But when it comes to like actually like having like a business where, I'm kind of growing from that and whatever that looks like as my next steps, I I do feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like if you asked me how much money I made last month, I wouldn't be able to tell you, and I should, right?
But why? Why should you? Why does that matter?
Well, because I feel like anytime, like a bit, do you know how much money you made last month?
I sure don't.
Huh, that's interesting.
Sure
Do
don't.
you know how much money Brick Built made last month?
Nope.
But do you have, okay. Do you have a place where you could go and reference it and be able to tell right away?
Yes.
Okay, so you have like, you might not know off the top of your head, but if I asked you that, you can go pull something up and because you're keeping track. So I wonder if it's that. Also, I wonder if it's kind of like because I've never really faced this before. And I'm wondering if it's like the pull of my mind being elsewhere and things like that and not really fully present where I'm like diving in. I don't know if it's that.
Money has always been something that has not been a strong suit for you. So I don't know if it's anything other than just the fact that when it comes to money, that's just not something that you've ever tried to develop.
What do you mean?
Like you said with money, like you kind of just spend things and Eris handles the finances and things like that. Like that's all wrapped up in money. So like you not knowing how much money you made last month, that doesn't surprise me because money is not something that you've ever developed within yourself. That's a skill that I think you're capable of it. You just haven't focused on it enough to develop it.
Is that something I would need? Because I don't personally want to
I
or
think that
care.
I think that when you run a business, there's always going to be aspects that you don't love to do. And either you can do it yourself or you can hire it out. So like like for my brokerage, for example, I felt like I could do everything. And I felt like I was mediocre at a lot of different things. So that's how I was able to do all of that when I started. However, a majority of businesses, when they open, they have an accountant lined up, they have a bookkeeper, they have a front desk receptionist, they have that's not abnormal to do. I just did it the more like I'm not paying somebody to do that because I have minor skill sets in that. So that's the only reason why. It doesn't make you less than because you would rather delegate that task to somebody that likes to do it for one, and two is better at you than that. That's why I'm sick of it now. That's why I hired my mom because I'm like, I don't want to look at that shit anymore. But I could have hired somebody from the get-go and that wouldn't have made me less of a business owner because I hired somebody. So I think that when it comes to like keeping track, I think that you just need to delegate that task to somebody else.
Another thing I think that's kind of bringing me into this space is the fact that I want to my mind wants to slow down, but my mind also wants to ramp up. And I think that just having that internal conflict is a struggle because I feel like deep down in my heart, I want to go, go, go. And I'm just a hustler by nature and I just want the things. But my mind is like, no, you should slow down. You should just enjoy life, take a breath, take a beat.
Yeah.
And I feel like those two parts of me are fighting currently.
Ooh, I feel that. And I don't have an answer for that one or any insight. I'm the same way because, like, I could be like, what? Okay, I'll just fucking say it. Since I have started real estate, okay, except for my first year, since I have started real estate, have never not been in the top 50. And I am no longer in the top 50. And part of me wants to be like, oh, hell no, it's game time. But the other part of me is like, I got so much shit to do and I have so many systems and other things that I need to develop. Does it really matter that much for me right now? Like, I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any insight for you, but like, I'm battling the same thing right now. If I ramp up so I can do better or do more, but then the other part of me is just like, take a break, like slow down for a sec. Like, is it really, what's it all for? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it's crazy
I feel
because
the same.
yesterday I went to a workshop, and that's where I'm going to say I think that this is kind of all coming from. The self-sabotage part of it is because I want to slow down, but also I don't want the effects of slowing down. And I don't have a team built yet or anything where like I'm still making like it is just us. And so I I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with that. However, I think what I can do is I feel like I almost have to decide one way or another. And then like if I do decide to just ramp up and go hard, then I have to just take life where I can get it in bits and pieces and just know that that's okay for right now. And if I decide to slow down, then I have to realize like, hey, that's what's that going to look like? Because there's pros and cons to either or. But I personally feel like I need to make a commitment to one or the other. And then
Why
I
can't it be
think
in between?
because I don't feel like I have that in any aspect. I'm in
Me
all or
neither.
nothing.
Me
So
too.
that's why there's no in between.
I mean, I was asking the question. I knew my answer was going to be the same, but
There is none. There
there
is
is no
nothing.
middle ground.
Um, so that's really interesting. And I'm wondering if that's leading to the self-sabotage. Like one of the things that I have learned, I was recently reading a book and it was talking about self-sabotage being like a lack of confidence or like a lack of belief in your whatever's going to happen. And I was noticing from like after my egg retrieval with IVF and like getting that good news. And then to now I've just been like, let's take shots. Let's do this. Like I've been like not caring about myself half as much. And I think it's because I'm very scared of like the end result there. And so I'm just kind of like, well, it's just going to be a free for all then because I can't really control that anyways. And I think that that's just been bleeding into other parts of my life. I want to fix the lack of execution part because I think that's just a me thing. And I have to figure out that. Now, yesterday I went to a workshop and it was about building confidence and like speaking on camera and things like that, which is funny because I feel fine with that, but I did learn a lot and I wish I had my notes handy, but one of the things that she had mentioned, it was Jessica that was speaking at it.
Yeah.
And she had mentioned look at someone that is very successful in your eyes. She said for her, she would look at like the CEO of Apple or something. For an example, what do you think they're doing all day? So like what do you think that they are for me I didn't really have anybody in mind that I like look up to but I'm like okay well they are probably not sitting here like doom scrolling which I have gotten a lot better at or like wallowing in the negativity which I tend to do like if I get in a negative space I'm kind of just there like fuck this is dumb I tend to kind of stay there at times but the people that I admire, like, what are they doing? And I think for me, it's going to be just about like literally pretending that I'm the best version of myself and just doing the things. And we've talked about it and like making the tally. Maybe I need to like make the tally marks and be like, okay, was this an action for past Erika or was this an action for future Erika and see like where I'm currently at, to see.
I don't like the answer of the Apple CEO. I feel like that's so far-fetched. And to be quite honest, the CEO of Apple is probably on a golf course. Like, is probably not doom scrolling, but he is probably not focusing on business. I will say that. He is a CEO. He has staff to do that. So I think that that is a very unrealistic answer.
Okay, well, pick whoever you want though. Like, it doesn't have to be him.
I don't think that any type of big business CEO is somebody like you should be looking at.
Well, that's not who I would be looking at.
Right. I'm just telling everybody that.
Well, you're not getting the point though. You're like,
I am getting the point.
Focusing on this, but you're not getting the point of the exercise.
I do get
It doesn't have to be a CEO. It can be you. I can be looking at you and saying like, I look up to Paige. I want to be like Paige. What does Paige? I'm using you as an example.
Don't do that.
Okay.
No, because I think it does. The reason I'm focusing on it is because I think it does. I do get the exercise of what they're doing and being able to like mimic what they're doing right now. But I think that it also is important on who you choose to mimic your business after. I do think that's important. That's the reason why I was saying that I wasn't focusing on just that. I got the exercise.
Well, because, so I think about, I don't know. I don't want to get into her again, but the girl on Instagram.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm not saying I wouldn't be mad if I had that kind of money. I wouldn't be upset about it if I was living in a sunny state, buying all my, I wouldn't be mad about that. I'm not saying that that's like my goal, but I'm saying if I was in that position, I think I would be fine with it. I wouldn't be complaining.
So what does she do every day?
Okay, but I do want to say, I don't think that like that hardcore is in my mentality. I don't think that's for me.
So I think maybe finding somebody that has the same like hardcoreness as you.
Like at my hardcore level.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Even if you use your own future self for an example. So say we're not even using someone that's exists. We're just using the future us. Like the exercise that we had talked about, how are we going to show up?
So what does that look like? I mean, what is success to you? How do you define that?
What? No,
success to you.
Okay, it's funny that you say that because another thing that I thought about yesterday, which I haven't thought about in a good long while, was like my why. I don't they say your why has to be super strong or it's not going to get you out of bed every single day. I don't feel like I really have one. I feel like the biggest thing I can say is obviously like a baby. And like, that's kind of the thing that like, keeps me more accountable to like my health goals and the decisions I make in that aspect. But when it comes to like working, maybe that would be different when the baby's here because I won't want to work like at a job, which isn't an option for me anyways, because I will never.
I don't know what you'd do if you worked a 9 to 5 again.
I'd probably get fired.
That's all
pretty quick for being late all the time or not wanting to go. Okay. How can what do you think if you were my coach, because that's what I'm using this whole session for?
I like consulting.
Okay. If you were my consultant and I said, Paige, I struggle with execution and I almost think it's because my brain is on overload of ideas all day and I don't know what to do or where to start. Because how many times have I came to you and said, I have this freaking cool ass idea. I want to do it. And
where
then
are you putting that cool ass idea?
My brain.
Why don't you write it down?
Okay, so I'm writing down my ideas in a notebook. Then what?
Or a voice message, whatever's easy.
Okay, so I'm going to write them down.
I would say in my opinion, if you have a bunch of new ideas, like of these ideas, maybe do you execute one once a week? Do you execute one once every 2 weeks? Do you execute one every 3 weeks, every month? Like for me, like I think about like a lot of my ideas are like, okay, so my last idea was like doing pre-listing inspections. I can implement that now. Now I have another goal that I'm like, okay, my husband's going to be like, you don't need to open a new business every day or every year. Because I used to always do something like I opened, I added more agents, or I opened the Brickville, Michigan office, or the cafe, whatever the situation is. So like, or is it something where you can only execute one per year because it is so big? So I think you also need to make sure you're not stretching yourself thin or looking at all of the ideas that you have and say, okay, I need to implement these now. Can you put them in categories? Like, and maybe not like right then and there, because if you have an idea enter your head, the whole idea is to get it out. So is it something that you can block schedule 1 day a week? That's your task for that day of the week, is looking through your idea list and labeling them weekly, monthly, annually, 5 years. Categorize that. So when you see that big old list, you're not like, oh, I'm failing because here's my list of shit that I'm not executing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You know what I think would be a fun segment? Would be, what if I took the 4 weeks to success and I did it, and every week I reported how I'm doing?
You're not a brand new agent though. But
So,
I'd be down. Someone needs to try it.
well, I think we'll just try it. And that will have to hold me accountable to the pod, because I'm coming and saying I did all my week 1 tasks. I did all my week 2 tasks. And it will only take 4 episodes.
Sorry if I interrupted your podcast from my daughter.
Your daughter said that?
She texted me a question and I answered
Aw.
her. So there are deliverables for a handful of sections. But yeah,
Cool.
I'll send it to you.
Let's
I
do
think
it.
it'll be cool.
Let's do it. But you don't
circling
get
back,
it unless you're a Brickville agent like me.
Yeah, you got week 1 briefly. Okay, so hold on. I want to circle back to something. You say you don't know if you want to ramp up or slow down. And you say that like you don't know if there's a middle ground. How do you know if you need to ramp up or slow down if you don't know what you made last month? Because you don't know what you did. You could be right on track for your goal or exceeding your goal. Why do you need to ramp up?
Well, I am. So like I have like a spot where I loosely, like every so often I'll go in there and update them, and I can kind of tell you like where we are for the year. But it's going in there and updating it. However, I think it's more of a feeling though, like a feeling of like, okay, I have this many clients, I'm doing this, or I have this many pendings and things like that. It's more of like a feeling for me.
I don't think you should track your pendings within your goal, for one. I think that that's cool to say that you have, but like you should be measuring your tracker of what has actually closed, because deals can fall through the day before closing.
True.
And if you're counting that
true.
into your stats, then you're not mentally preparing for the work that you need to do. You need to pretend those don't exist. And if they do close, great. But those pendings should not be calculated into your progress so far in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
So I would say, I get that you're saying for your feelings, because feelings are valid. I feel the same way. And every time that I'm like, I need to ramp up, I feel like I'm behind, I go and look at my numbers. And I'm like, okay, well, my goal for the year, I'll just be honest, was 12 million combined between Brandon and I. If I look at the end of June, I ideally want to see that I close 6 million. I did not. So that means I need to ramp up. Or I did, and I can keep doing what I'm doing. Or, yeah, I beat it by like 2 million. I can slow down for a sec. I can regroup. So I think that if you feel a moment of doubt, see where you're at. Why are you having this battle of ramping up or slowing down when you may not know where you're at on your tracker for your goal?
I see what you mean, but I think for me it's bigger, more of like a lifestyle type of thing than what's on my tracker, than how far I am from hitting my actual goal.
So if it's not a volume goal that you're tracking, if it's like, are you thinking of like the team?
No, I'm tracking a volume goal. I'm tracking it.
Okay.
Yeah. So like but I guess, yeah, I'm tracking a volume goal. I have like a little sheet that I kind of, like I said, I go in there every so often and I update it. I still don't know what I made last month. Couldn't tell you.
So what if you're on track? Why do you need to ramp it up if you're on track?
Because I'm not feeling like I am busy enough or productive enough.
So you couldn't slow down even if you wanted to, because your body is kind of telling you that you should slow down because you're on track. And you're the one that's like, gotta ramp it up. I don't like this feeling. But the fact
Yeah.
is, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. This is called stability.
Maybe, okay, so maybe it gets easier as the years progress and then, your bandwidth gets bigger.
Like bandwidth to like do more.
Yeah, so then okay, I'm just throwing numbers out. So maybe it's like, okay, I can handle 6 transactions now with my eyes closed, where before maybe I was like, if I have 3 transactions, I'm gonna blow my fucking head off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's like 3 transactions was keeping me busy, but now if I'm at 6, I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
breezing through.
Yeah.
Or it's not filling up all of my time.
Well, that's the
Also,
whole
if you have,
point.
yeah, I know so maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not gonna be able to just chill no matter what I'm ever doing. And that's why I always want to dabble into new different things.
Yeah. You got to find a
So
hobby that
it's a
feels
me
productive.
problem.
I don't I don't think it's
I
a
like to read.
necessarily I don't think it's a you problem. I think it's a common problem that a lot of people that are high producers, or they just like to do a lot, or they're go, go, go. I think, finding contentness and just like, that's just not a normal feeling. But like,
Hmm.
also, I don't want anybody, including you, to like self-sabotage when you're just being content. Like, being content isn't a bad thing. It's just,
Hmm.
for us high producers, contentness feels very slow. And I don't like it because
Yeah, I
I
don't
like to move
either.
fast. So I'm the same way. But I just, like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I just hired an assistant. Like, what am I going to do with my free time? That's going to drive me bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, but, and maybe I can talk about that towards the end of the year after I've had an assistant under my belt. Like, what do you, what do you do when you're
Yeah, I'm
like,
curious to see that.
when you're hitting your goals and you're achieving your goals and you're doing everything, like, but it doesn't feel busy enough? What then? What do we do then?
That was like my whole thing. So another thing that Eris was talking about yesterday, that when I was telling him about how I was feeling with these task situations, was okay, so if maybe the way that you get businesses, say Instagram or social media or Facebook, whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to make a video. Well, about what? So then he was like, okay, so if that's what you're going to do, using that as an example, then maybe you like figure out what you're going to say, what you think would be helpful, what you think would be useful, what you feel inclined to talk about, and already have that like pre-decided. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
So, it'd be cool. So I said that we created a 4 week to success for new agents. What if we created a like a way to kickstart? I don't know. We have to find a way to like word it, but like how to kickstart feeling productive when you feel like stagnant,
Yeah,
and
like a
topics to talk
reset.
about, like a reset. I have like a kickstart. I have reset written down. Yeah. And we could base it, honestly. I don't know much about cycle syncing, and I know that we looked into things, but like if we structure like a month kickstart and kind of frame it like start, like
When you start.
start when you start.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, and it doesn't have to, I know that that's framing to women, but like men, if they have women in their lives or anything like that, they could frame it around that, because usually men pick up their women's moodiness. I feel like, I don't know, my husband has a freaking non-bleeding period every month. I don't know about yours, but
No, he doesn't really, but um he's pretty stable. But I will say, yeah, I would be really interested in that. and just kind of seeing how to reboot yourself.
That
Because
sounds fun.
sometimes I think I need a reboot every quarter.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of was thinking that. Like, so do we make 4 of these? One for every quarter. Because you have all
Yeah.
different seasons of things. I mean,
Oh my God. There was this, I need to tell you this. I read this book, and it is the sweetest book I've ever read. Hang on. You have to hear this. This is going to change your life.
well,
This is going to change your life. Hang on. Now to find it. Hang on. It was at the beginning. I love this so much. It's not going to take me long because I know it was at the beginning. Oh, okay. Just a little bit of backstory. This book it's this one. It's called The Correspondent. It's a sweet little book. It's written in letters, and the lady is in her 70s, and she corresponds to everybody. She was a paralegal, or she was a lawyer, and she worked alongside this other lawyer. And that was her whole thing. But now she's like, she writes letters to communicate with everybody, even to the guy on 23andMe DNA. She like made a good friendship with him, whatever. So the customer service guy. So she's talking about different seasons of life. And this is, oh, thank you. This is what she says. There's an articulation of life one hears again and again. People will say, oh, this is only a season. You know what I'm referring to, don't you? I mean, how if someone is in difficulty, they'll say it's only a season. Or if someone is having a new baby and the sleepless nights, an older woman will comfort with this idea that the expanse of time is a season. Winter, I suppose, rather hurricane season. And the season will change eventually to something sunnier. I take issue with this. There are by definition 4 seasons that repeat in measured pattern year after year. As there's no such rhythm in human life, I have to think that when it comes to seasons, we all get one round. We are born and grow through childhood and spring. We live those glorious, lively, interesting years of our 20s and 30s and 40s in the summer. We settle into ourselves in autumn and that cool but not yet cold time, rich and aromatic, and in the winter we age brutally and die. One turn of the seasons per person, unless it's cut short. I thought that was crazy. That alone changed my life. Are you still there?
I am.
Okay. This is the second part. But I think of life rather like a long road. We walk in one direction by and large. Wait, hold up. But I think of life rather like a long road we walk in one direction. By and large, a lonesome walk out in the wilderness of hills and wind, mountains and snow, and sometimes there is someone to come along and walk with you for a stretch. And sometimes, this is what I'm getting to, sometimes you see in the distance some lights and it heartens you. The lone house or maybe a village, and you come into the warmth of that stopover and go inside. Maybe you have a warm supper and you stay a night, or maybe you stay there a few years. I had one of those stopovers when the children were young, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know that. The stretches, oh. If you can count of 3 months of winter turning out and 3 months of summer on repeat, it's not so. The stretches on the high-blown road are far more commoner than the stopovers in comfort, and aren't we always trying to get back to the happier times? I'm done. You didn't like it.
I think that everybody has different opinions on analogy of how to look at life. And
I just thought that was
it is
so
like,
interesting.
I think it is interesting. I mean, I think looking at life as a road and like villages and whatnot is definitely a perspective. Yeah.
Whatever. But I just thought it was really cool because it just made me think of that. And when you said seasons, but I know
I
that's
mean,
not really what we were talking about.
I do pick up from them like seasons. Like what I kind of took from that is like instead of seasons, and you look at it as a road, because like if it's constantly with seasons, you're constantly changing to whatever the season is. Like I understand that perspective.
She broke it up into life, like different stages of life.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Everybody
Don't
has
read.
different
Don't read, Paige.
I know. This is why I don't. It is what it is.
It's okay. But aside from that, I even shared that with Eris. Like, I really, really like that. But aside from that, I would be definitely interested to do like what you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. I think
So we
that's
can put
awesome.
that together.
All right.
Anyways,
That's all we got for you.
thank you.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at Agents After Hours Podcast for more behind the scenes of chaos, real estate talk, and unfiltered conversations.
And don't forget to shop our Amazon storefront if you want to see the stuff that we use in life on the daily, on the regular. Also, if you are looking to grow your business, you can check out hustlehumblypodcast.com. And if you want to purchase a course, you can use code After Hours. You can also use code After Hours at Modern Agent Social Club to receive a discount.
Whoop, whoop. All right, bye.